Welcome back to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at a pretty fascinating figure, Lahiri Mahasaya, from 19th century India.
Okay.
And our guide for this deep dive is going to be chapter 35 of Pasted Text, which focuses on Lahiri Mahasaya's life and teachings.
Sounds good.
Now, are you ready to uncover some surprising claims about his abilities?
Absolutely. Lahiri Mahasaya is seen as a really pivotal figure in the world of yoga, particularly for making the practice more accessible,
right,
to the everyday person.
Yeah, the text doesn't hold back. It even suggests a connection between Lahiri Mahasaya and Jesus Christ. I have to admit, that's what kind of caught my eye at first. So can you tell us a little more about that?
Sure. Chapter 35 delves into this whole concept of reincarnation. Suggesting that souls are reborn again and again and again, learning lessons across multiple lifetimes. And the text actually claims that John the Baptist was like a guru to Jesus in past lives. And it even draws these parallels to other biblical figures like Elijah and Elisha.
So the text is saying that even figures from the Bible might have been part of this cycle of reincarnation.
That's right.
That's a pretty bold interpretation.
It is, and it goes even further, suggesting that Jesus' transfiguration, the moment when he's said to have been, radiant with light, was actually a sign of his past life connection with John the Baptist.
Wow, that's making me rethink some of those stories.
Yeah.
But how does Lahiri Mahasaya fit into all of this?
Well, the text draws a parallel between the guru-disciple relationship to John the Baptist and Jesus with that of Lahiri Mahasaya and his guru, a mysterious figure named Babaji.
Hold on, guru. Could you explain what a guru is for those who might not be familiar with the term?
Sure. A guru is basically a spiritual teacher or guide. Think of them as a mentor who helps you on your spiritual path. And in Lahiri Mahasaya's case, his guru, Babaji, is said to have guided him even from childhood.
I'm starting to see the connection here.
Yeah.
So both Jesus and Lahiri Mahasaya had these really profound relationships with their gurus.
Exactly.
Even across different lifetimes, at least according to the text.
And it emphasizes this whole idea of spiritual lineages. This passing down of knowledge and practices from teacher to student across generations.
So we have Lahiri Mahasaya, this potentially reincarnated soul guided by a mysterious guru, but what else makes him so special?
Well, unlike the stereotypical image of a yogi meditating in a cave, Lahiri Mahasaya led a very normal life. He was a householder, meaning he had a family and a job. He even worked in an office.
Wait, so he was living a regular life and was this profound spiritual figure?
Yeah, kind of.
It's almost like he was leading a double life.
In a way, yes. And that's part of what makes him so inspiring. He embodies this idea that you don't have to renounce the world to achieve spiritual realization. You can live an ordinary life and still cultivate a deep connection with the divine.
That's a really empowering message. It means that spirituality isn't reserved for just monks or hermits. It's something we can all access, regardless of our circumstances.
Exactly, and the text highlights this by sharing all these stories about Lahiri Mahasaya's spiritual powers. For example, there's a story where he knew that his boss's wife was ill and recovering in England.
Really?
Even before a letter arrived confirming it.
That's incredible.
It's like he was tapped into some other dimension or had, this incredible intuition. And these anecdotes, while extraordinary, point to a central aspect of Lahiri Mahasaya's teachings. This power of direct experience. He wasn't just talking about abstract spiritual concepts. He was demonstrating a level of awareness that went beyond the ordinary.
It seems like he wasn't interested in keeping this knowledge to himself either.
No, not at all.
He wanted to share it with other people.
Absolutely. Lahiri Mahasaya was known for initiating people from all walks of life into this practice called Kriya Yoga. It was a technique for achieving what the text calls liberation.
Now I'm really curious. What exactly is Kriya Yoga, and what does liberation even mean in this context?
Well, let's unpack that in the next part of our deep dive. We'll explore the core principles and practices of Kriya Yoga. And how Lahiri Mahasaya made this ancient wisdom accessible to the masses.
This is getting really interesting. Don't go anywhere, listeners. We'll be right back to continue our deep dive into the world of Lahiri Mahasaya.
Welcome back. Before the break, we were just starting to get into this mysterious Kriya Yoga. So what is this practice and how does it relate to the liberation that the text keeps talking about?
Well, Kriya Yoga is described as a set of techniques, especially breathing exercises, that aim to accelerate spiritual growth.
Okay.
And liberation is like the ultimate goal.
Okay.
It's like freedom from suffering, from the cycle of birth and death.
Oh, wow.
And ultimately realizing your true nature. So not just like feeling calmer after a yoga class.
Right.
But like something way more profound.
Exactly. And what makes Lahiri Mahasaya so important is that he systematized and simplified Kriya Yoga.
Okay.
Making it more accessible to people who weren't, living as ascetics.
But the text mentions these 4 progressive initiations of Kriya Yoga. What does that even mean? It sounds kind of like joining a secret society.
Not quite that secretive.
Okay.
Think of them like levels of practice. You wouldn't expect someone to run a marathon without, training first, right?
Right.
Similarly, Lahiri Mahasaya guided his disciples through these levels as they showed they were ready.
Yeah, I remember that story in the text about the postman, Brinda Bhagat.
Oh, yeah.
Even the first initiation had such a powerful impact on him.
Right.
That he could barely focus on his deliveries.
Exactly. It shows that Kriya Yoga, as described in the text, isn't just theoretical.
Right.
It's a practice that can lead to these, profound internal shifts.
It seems like Lahiri Mahasaya really emphasized this direct experience, actually doing the practice.
Yeah.
Rather than just reading scriptures or having intellectual debates about spirituality.
That's a key takeaway from the text.
Yeah.
He encouraged his disciples to go beyond just thinking about these spiritual concepts.
Right.
And actually cultivate a direct connection to the divine.
Okay.
Through, meditation and self-reflection.
It's almost like he was saying, stop arguing about what enlightenment might be and just experience it for yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what's remarkable is that he didn't try to, convert everyone to one specific belief system.
Yeah.
He even encouraged people to, incorporate their existing religious practices into their spiritual journey.
That's really interesting. So he was advocating for a more personalized approach to spirituality.
Yes. He recognized that there are many paths to spiritual growth.
Okay.
And he encouraged his students to find what worked best for them, drawing from their own traditions and experiences.
He sounds like a true innovator in the spiritual realm.
Yeah.
But what happened after his, retirement?
Right.
Did he start a big yoga movement?
Well, that's where things get even more interesting.
Oh.
He actually didn't do any of that.
Really?
He actively chose to not create an organization.
Wow.
Or, seek publicity.
So, no Lahiri Mahasaya yoga studios popping up everywhere.
Nope. The text says he believed the power of Kriya Yoga would spread naturally.
Okay.
Through the lives of his disciples.
Uh-huh.
He trusted the teachings to speak for themselves.
That's a powerful statement about his confidence in the practice.
Yeah.
And his, humility.
Uh-huh.
But did his teachings actually survive?
Right.
How do we even know about him today?
Well, the text mentions that one of his disciples did eventually establish the Arya Mission Institution.
Okay.
To share Lahiri Mahasaya's commentaries and yogic medicines.
So someone did take on the task of preserving his teachings. What are these commentaries all about?
So Lahiri Mahasaya didn't write any books himself.
Okay.
But he gave these extensive interpretations of ancient scriptures.
Right.
And his disciples recorded these, making them more accessible to people who might not have the time or background to study the original text.
That's pretty ingenious. It's like they were creating a bridge between ancient wisdom and the modern world.
Uh-huh.
But is that it? Is Lahiri Mahasaya just a historical figure? Or does his legacy live on today?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And one we'll explore in the final part of our deep dive.
Okay.
We'll look at Lahiri Mahasaya's lasting impact.
Right.
And how his teachings continue to resonate in our modern world.
Sounds like we're heading towards a fascinating conclusion. Stay with us, listeners, as we wrap up our exploration of Lahiri Mahasaya and his timeless wisdom.
All right, we're back, ready to wrap up our deep dive into the life and legacy of Lahiri Mahasaya.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground, from reincarnation and gurus
to Kriya Yoga and that whole idea of direct experience.
It's been quite a journey.
It really has.
And now we come to the big question.
Yeah.
What is Lahiri Mahasaya's lasting impact?
Right.
Does his influence extend, beyond his lifetime?
Well, Chapter 35 makes a pretty bold claim.
Oh.
Even comparing Lahiri Mahasaya to, Jesus and other saviors, saying he brought a new hope for humanity.
That might sound like hyperbole to some.
Yeah.
But I think it reflects the profound shift that Lahiri Mahasaya brought to spiritual practices by making Kriya Yoga accessible to all.
Right.
He kind of democratized that path to liberation, empowering individuals to take their spiritual growth into their own hands.
It's like he was saying, you don't need to rely on external authorities or institutions. The power to transform your life lies within you.
Exactly. And that message, I think, is incredibly relevant today in a world that often feels chaotic and overwhelming.
Right.
Lahiri Mahasaya's teachings offer a way to find inner peace.
Okay.
And connect with a, deeper sense of purpose.
We're constantly bombarded with information.
Right.
And external distractions. It's easy to lose sight of that inner wisdom.
That's where the practice of Kriya Yoga comes in.
Okay.
The text suggests that, through specific techniques, you can quiet the mind.
Okay.
And access that stillness within where true knowing resides.
This whole idea of finding truth within yourself really resonates with me. But does Kriya Yoga still exist today?
Absolutely.
Is anyone still practicing it?
While Lahiri Mahasaya didn't create a formal organization, his teachings have been passed down through various lineages. And people around the world continue to practice Kriya Yoga to this day.
So this unassuming man who lived a, pretty ordinary life sparked a movement that's still alive and well.
Right.
Over a century later. That's pretty incredible.
Right.
It speaks to the enduring power of his message.
Yeah.
It's not about, dogma or rituals. It's about connecting with that inner source of truth and wisdom that exists within each of us.
Chapter 35 leaves us with a really thought-provoking question.
Yeah.
How can Lahiri Mahasaya's emphasis on direct experience and inner guidance be relevant to our lives today?
That's the challenge we all face.
Yeah.
How do we stay grounded and connected to ourselves?
Right.
Amidst all the, noise and distractions of modern life.
Right.
I think Lahiri Mahasaya's teachings offer a really compelling answer.
Okay.
It's about making time for introspection.
Right.
For quieting the mind and listening to that inner voice.
Maybe we all need a little bit of Lahiri Mahasaya's wisdom in our lives instead of constantly seeking answers outside of ourselves.
Yeah.
Perhaps we need to, turn inward.
Right.
And cultivate that connection with our own inner knowing.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Thanks.
And it doesn't necessarily require, dramatic life changes, even small steps.
Yeah.
Like taking a few minutes each day for quiet reflection or practicing mindfulness can make a big difference.
So for our listeners who are, intrigued by Lahiri Mahasaya and want to learn more, what would you suggest?
I encourage you to explore Chapter 35 of Pasted Text for yourself.
Okay.
It offers a fascinating glimpse into his life and teachings.
Okay.
You might also consider exploring resources on Kriya Yoga.
Okay.
Or trying out, some simple meditation techniques.
That's great advice. A huge thank you to our expert for taking us on this deep dive.
Of course.
And to our listeners, remember the most profound journey is often the one we take inward.
Well said.
Keep exploring, keep seeking, and keep diving deep into the mysteries of life. Until next time.
Thank you for listening till the end. Please subscribe, turn on the notifications, like, comment, and share with your friends. This will help more listeners to discover our channel and content.